Well, good afternoon. Ever since the spring of 1952, around 2:30 or so, surveys show that the American people have become increasingly flummoxed with the behavior of their local officials. It appears many of these local leaders engage in practices including, but not limited to, cronyism, backroom deals, violating the Brown Act, cronyism, even violating the Volstead Act, which leaves us where we are today. The question is, exactly where are we today? Well, here we are, of course, because city councils across the country are doing important work, and so what I thought I would do is take this opportunity to showcase all the important work they're doing with the aid of this chart right here of the council chambers. Now, in a typical city council across the country, there are an odd number of members. In this case, there are 9. And running down the roster, we start off here in District Number 1, we have Ms. Ashbury. In the second spot, we have Ms. Sheehan. Batting third, Mr. Crone. At number 4, Mr. Funk. Mayor Jackson up here is presiding over the proceedings. In the 5 hole down here, Mr. McCready. He is buttressed with Mr. Schreiner. Down here at number 7, we have the other Mr. Funk. And finally, in the 8th spot, Ms. Purcell. Now, looking at tonight's City Council agenda, let's take, for example, item number 21.4.7.2, Section B, District Reconnoitering. Now, what usually happens is that city stiffs or staff articulate and present the item to the public. After that, it's time for public comment, which is 2 minutes per person, per capita, per square mile, per man hour on a good night. After that, the council then engages in a lively or deadly debate, depending upon your perspective, which features a lot of give and take and ups and downs and back and forth and so forth. Finally, there's a vote to be taken. And what happens is usually Councilman Crone will make an intent motion to move the item, to move the motion. That is then seconded usually by another member of the dais, let's say in this case Mr. Funk or maybe the other Mr. Funk. On the other side of the diaphragm, Councilman McCready has other ideas up his sleeve, so he irps up a substitute motion. That motion usurps or reconnoiters the previous motion, and so the amended amendment becomes a revised resolution. At the end of the day, which usually occurs around midnight, a vote is finally taken. And in this case, the vote is 6-3, it fails, or depending upon your perspective, it is 3-6, it passes. Either way, members of the public are left with the hankering urge to go out and violate the Volstead Act themselves. Cheers.